What's your favorite ninja movie? This is an underrated, edgy gem from the late 2000s that I feel wasn't really appreciated in its time. Yeah, it's a little light on plot and it's a little underlit, but it knows what it is, and we get people sliced to bits. What more could you ask for? It's day 83 of 365. Today's movie, Ninja Assassin. Directed by James McTeigue and starring Rain as a ninja assassin, this movie really blew me away as a kid in the theaters. This is exactly the kind of thing I wanted to go see. It's visceral, it's bloody, it doesn't hold anything back, and it's always going all out in every single scene that it gives you. I can really appreciate that at the time, and I can still really appreciate that now. The pitch is simple. What if a gory, Wachowski-produced V for Vendetta style movie was made about ninjas? I love that as a setup, and so let's jump into the three things that I really loved about Ninja Assassin. The first thing that I really love about this movie is the opening sequence. This kind of sets the tone for the entire movie, and you could honestly argue that they bust their load in the first 10 minutes just by showing off what they're able to do with this visual CGI technology as well as practical effects and gore. This movie is bloody. It makes no promises otherwise, and it opens with a promise that it will get bloodier from here, and boy, does it. But man, I'll never forget those first 10 minutes in theaters. I did not know what I was in for. The trailers, even the red band ones, didn't exactly mention how many buckets of blood were going to be spilled in the film. So by the time you get through the opening 10 and you've seen bodies eviscerated from side to side, up and down, left to right, diagonally, limbs flying off, blood flying through the air, suddenly you know you're in for something that you've never really seen before. And listen, I know that there are extremely gory, bloody samurai and ninja films from across time, but this is the first time I'm seeing it in the big blockbuster world, in a theater where lots of people could go to see this. This movie isn't just bloody either. It's inventive with its kills. It's showing stuff that we haven't seen before. Honestly, I think I would put this and Sisu together as a double feature for the most inventive kills per minute kind of movies. They're actually similar too in many other ways, with the fact that they're very low on dialogue and plot and instead just give you fun, cool, inventive things to watch for the next 88 minutes. Sisu might have the more inventive kills with him breathing air out of a Nazi's lungs while staying underwater, but I think Ninja Assassin gets the bloodier one of the two. They are really willing to spill as much viscera as possible. In the middle of any fight where he's surrounded by people, he's going to be exacting limbs, and that's so cool to see. I'm more used to seeing movies showing cuts and bangs and bruises and not actually full amputations in the middle of a fight. This movie's willing to say, no, we'll throw as many bodies at this as we need to get the kind of kills that we want to show on screen. The second thing that I love so much about this movie are the stunts. So we've got a lead performer who's as physical as they come. This guy is a dancer, martial artist, has served time in the military. This is the kind of person you want to put on the screen to do these kinds of stunts. There's an argument to be made that you can't make stunts as good as they are unless you have someone that's actually able to perform them. That's not to say he didn't have a stunt crew behind him, but you can get a lot more done in camera without having to swap the guy out when your lead actor is actually able to do these kinds of moves. It gives a fluidity to his combat style that makes it more like a dance, which is awesome. They give him a weapon that kind of reflects this as well, and ultimately this bakes it into something that remains in the back of my head. Maybe Rotten Tomatoes giving this 25% is a mistake, maybe it's not, but I think that when we see something committed to screen that is this badass at every single moment, my complaint of there not being enough lighting is really only because I wish I could see more. And that's a good thing to have praised about your movie, that the stunts are awesome and worth checking out. If you don't watch this movie for any other reason, watch it for the stunts. These fight scenes that they're doing are always just next level, always trying to one-up themselves. And that's a cool thing to watch. by the time we get to our finale, where we get our showdown with the Lord of the Ninjas versus Raizo, we've already shown that this guy has a healing factor, that he's able to take out roomfuls of guys. And so to have our hero at that point and then pit him against someone that's actually a rival to him physically, it adds a lot of stakes to that finale that I kind of forgot. I remember in the theater feeling like it had really amped up to that point. But rewatching, even watching the shitty, cracked version that I got online, this was awesome. The finale really brings it. And I love watching a movie that is stunt forward. That's the point of this. This is the stunt crew from Wachowski films, from Speed Racer, which has an amazing martial arts sequence smacked into the middle of it, from V for Vendetta, which has fantastic one versus many fights. And the point of making this movie was to show off not only the kills, like I mentioned in the first point, but to show off these stunts in a way that will let the audience just have a really fun, badass time. What's wrong with that, I argue? The third and final thing worth mentioning here is, I think, his origin story. This is where I almost got lost in the movie. I almost thought it was unnecessary to do all this rewinding to show his backstory. But then I remembered talking about G.I. Joe, and something that they did in that movie was give the backstory as kids for our main ninja characters. Seeing a legit badass version of that in this, I actually started to appreciate it more. Giving someone an origin story and showing where they come from, especially with the intensity of this training for the character. I really love them showing that off. But what do you think? Does this movie deserve its 25%, or was it an underrated gem like I'm saying? Our next film, we're talking about Armored from 2009, and as always, I will see you tomorrow.